some behavior. So I'm reviewing an MR and it behaves differently for me. But I said it's probably like feature flags or something like that. So
And that's
just,
always
uh, just doing my usual closing my 100 windows that I've got open, and hopefully we are to go. So let me check the, I'll open that issue up actually. Yeah. So I want to have rapid diffs and rapid diffs on MR show feature flags enabled. So I've definitely got those two feature flags enabled.
rapid
Uh,
diffs. That sounds interesting.
Feel free while I'm going into it to give us, because I've heard the term, but I didn't dig and I'm not entirely sure. So did you want to share a little bit about what it is?
Oh, I don't know what it is. Given the name,
No,
it's
no,
like
no. So Stanislav is, I hope I pronounce your name right. Forgive me. He's
yeah.
a team member. So it's his merge request that I'm reviewing. So he'll
Oh,
hopefully be
okay.
able to explain it to us.
Yes, rapid diffs, essentially we are rewriting how we render diffs across GitLab. So we have 4 places where we can see diffs. It's merge requests, it's
Yeah.
commits, it's compare revisions, and it's also merge request creation form. And we want to unify this rendering approach and make it really, really fast and work across all cases. And that's what we are doing. We are trying to address all the issues you see on merge request right now in production. So
Uh-huh.
hopefully it will be much better when we enable it.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
now that you're talking about that, I remember I asked probably a month or so ago, uh, could this also fix or work around an issue that I'm having in our project that basically I set up the Git attributes file
Mhm.
to basically we work, at least I work both on Windows and on Mac. So I set up Git attributes to handle file line endings,
Mhm.
and I set it up to with a catch-all rule to basically use Unix line endings all the time
Mhm.
and add exclusion rules for binary files like images and stuff like that. Due to that, on MRs, I cannot see the diffs when the images change because they're filtered out by the Git attributes.
Okay. So the thing is, rapid diffs are not changing anything about how diffs are processed on the backend. Yeah. So we are taking existing logic. So everything is gonna stay the same, but it's gonna be much faster. So
Okay.
the issue are having, I probably understand what's going on there, but you still have to go through the process of fixing the backend for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I've now got, so we've got the feature flags on. I've got a nice MR that's got a collapsed bit at the top and the bottom
That's
and the
actually
middle.
excellent.
And we should be good to go. So do you want me to start and try and expand the top
Mhm.
one to, okay, so
Yeah.
I click on this and then I press tab.
That's really weird. What branch are you on? Is it
uh,
actually the branch with the changes? No, I mean
so I
like your GDK.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Great point. I'm probably not at the moment. Yeah. So this is the standard behavior. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
I haven't prepped.
So it's like
Okay.
changing the focus and setting it on the line number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So what I tend to do, hopefully this is okay because I don't know if I'm behind or in front and I'm probably on a different remote, etc. So I will tell your diff, apply that. So should see that all of your changes are there. And we'll see if magically it all works now. Refresh it once. Okay, so that and tab. That looks promising.
Yeah.
Well, it
So that
said
was
the
the
yeah, it
Go on.
said the focus on the first line that was already visible, I think.
so the last line that wasn't visible. Is that right? Or
Yeah.
It sets a focus on the first closest line that is expanded. So if you expand
Right.
up and the next line is 19, it will focus on line 18.
Yeah.
you just have a look. Okay, interesting. So and then the bottom one. That looks good as well. So then this one. That looks good as well. Okay, weird. Just looks like it's working completely differently. That was an up one, wasn't it? Yeah,
I'm curious
85.
though,
So that's
is this just to improve keyboard navigation?
It's to improve accessibility in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
makes sense. So 25, 26, yeah, and then this
Does
one.
it also reduce memory usage overall on the page itself?
By like 1000%. I'm not kidding.
Good.
Okay. Because
awesome.
I've noticed it's used a lot of memory in the past. So.
I'm sure I've heard that it's a hot potato, and hence I guess why rapid diffs is a thing. Yeah, okay. I have no idea what I was doing differently before. But that seems to be working fine now, right? That's exactly how you wanted it to behave.
Yep.
Easy. Work here is done then. I'll respond now just to say, okay, I don't know what happened. And is it ready to pass to? It is ready to pass to maintainer, I take it.
Yep.
Perfect. Easy. Well, feel free to hang around and see what we dig into, but also if you want to drop off and get on with your day equally. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I gotta go, unfortunately.
No worries.
But
Have a good one.
thanks for figuring this out. Yeah. See ya.
Thanks for your patience. Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
So yeah, anyone else before I revert back to time logs? I think probably if we don't have anything else.
No, I'm good with time logs.
Awesome. So I think it was last week. We did some more work on time logs, and
one more question, if you don't mind.
Of course.
So I know we were discussing a couple weeks ago about running the advanced pipelines on the community branch or something. And you had thought that you could make some change or something for that. Is there any update on that?
Doesn't immediately ring a bell. So running which pipelines?
So the special pipelines that you guys trigger
Huh.
During a merge request, like the full test everything merge requests, those weren't getting triggered properly on the community branch repo.
So it doesn't ring a bell. I mean, my understanding is when someone who is a member of the canonical project triggers a pipeline, then it runs like a merged results pipeline. Depending on the label as well, like if it's a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, it will pick different tests. When a wider community member or someone without access to the canonical project runs a pipeline, I'm not sure if the tier impacts at all. It might still run a different size pipeline. I think it probably does, but it definitely wouldn't run a merged results pipeline. Although I'm sort of questioning it because I don't know why it's prohibited, because you have access to the target, so I don't know why it can't run merged results. I know why it runs in the context of the fork and not the canonical project because of variables and security, etc. But so have you got like an example at all?
Yep, I'm pulling it up. GitLab's
Oh.
throwing 500 errors right now.
Oh,
Oh, why do we manage to break it?
I did not do it.
Do you want me to stop sharing so you can share your screen, Jim, or do you want to ping me?
I'm going to throw you the link if that
Perfect.
if that's okay.
Yeah.
My computer is just spinning on pulling this up.
Okay.
So if you take a look, it's the everything passed, and then it gets this really the long. I think you called it canonical ones or merge results or
Oh, do you
whatever.
know what? Yeah. Sorry. Now I think you've just triggered something. Was it the FOSS pipelines that don't run?
I think so.
Yes. So start as if FOSS. That runs there, but what stages? That's under prepare. Yeah, it's not under there. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm sure it used to be something to do with the FOSS project. Like pipelines being private or something bonkers like that. So let's bring a little incognito window over here. That's my recollection of it anyway, memory being that, for some reason, well, they're definitely not, because I'm not logged in and I can see pipelines. But yeah, let's see. And now we've got the insane CI to try and. Yeah, start as if boss.
yeah. Needs prepare as if boss.
Merge request. Trying to compile or whatever the word is, transpile these is a nightmare. If merge request labels.
Strict E only rules.
Yeah, you can look at that one, Marco.
Strict only rules.
This makes my head hurt.
Yep, and mine.
If not EE, never. If GH, never. If not EE. Where is this defined?
I wonder if this is evaluating true.
Okay, so that if not strict EE only rules evaluate to if not EE is when never, so it never runs for not EE.
Okay.
And only
Makes sense to stop reciprocal. That would make a like reciprocal pipeline, wouldn't it? If it triggered itself.
Yeah, and there's a comment telling that only consider FOSS and FOSS not EE. I suspect that's an old comment because there's also GH in there.
Let me have a look. I suspect actually one thing that we completely glossed over. I think it's this first rule here. As if FOSS token equals null, then never.
Yeah, if that's a protected variable. Well, not protected.
So that would be probably a token that's missing that was never put in.
Yeah, but then we have to be a bit careful.
Most likely
Because-
not with a token missing, but a token missing only for community contribution. I mean,
Yeah, but
targeted
what,
pipelines.
what's it needed? So this is a GitLab. So I'm in the internal handbook at the moment, so I can't share what it says, but I'm just going to read it in my head and then see if there's anything. It probably is okay, but
and there's no way to run all of these tests locally on my machine because it requires GitLab Runner for most of these tests, right?
Correct.
There's writing on the public documentation telling that as if FOSS token is a GitLab FOSS project token with developer role and write repository permission.
In the public handbook?
Yeah, because it's inside of the main GitLab repository.
Oh, okay, interesting. Because basically the same messages in the internal handbook. I don't really know why it's in the internal handbook, but what I don't understand is what its purpose is. Like, why would it need write repository? Do you know what I mean? Why does it need that? What's it writing?
I don't know. I was trying to have a look. Okay, so it
writes all the CI test 2 buckets is what it does, and that's probably why it needs the right access.
Oh, that's where you found it in the docs. Oh. wonder if it feels like there should be a queue discussing it, but like, maybe we can just raise an MR to flesh this out and then ping the relevant people on there to understand what it's needed for.
If it's that the code for this.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, there's a push.
Prepare as if
Okay.
possible.
Okay. So it actually,
Oh,
wow.
it needs to bring the changes that you are passing to the main canonical GitLab repo and create the same branch on FOSS to test that on FOSS.
Yeah. Okay. That totally makes sense then why it needs it. But it's quite insane. I never realized that was happening in a merge request. Yeah, so there's not really going to be any way to, it would have, the only way we could, now it's got me thinking. So what if this pointed at,
To create a
Would
community
be.
branch for that.
yeah,
Or
yeah. And then what would we, I think if it even needs, like, can the job token, has that got the same permission as the person that started the job? I don't think it quite works like that, does it? Be good if you could use the job token, because I don't really want a hard-coded token in there. Let's create so we'll do it in GitLab community.
The job token has the same access permissions as the user who started the job.
But from what I understand, but I could be wrong, like, as much as it has the same permissions, it's not valid for like 99% of API stuff or whatever you want to call it. Like, only a few endpoints support job tokens.
True.
It would be awesome if like Git itself supported it, but my suspicion is it probably wouldn't. That looks great. Although again, I suppose it could even be in the main GitLab project. It's technically the same with I suppose if it was a private fork, you could fork that project as well, and you probably could set up that token. Support. Fine.
community cards.
Yeah, I'm sort of don't want to only make it about that, but even though that's mainly what we're interested in. As if FOSS token, right?
Yep.
Start with. So, out of interest, Jim, what's the? I take it in this scenario, like, so your pipeline looked all green, but then when it came to running one with the as if boss, it exploded. So that's why you would want it to ideally run that in your pipeline.
Yep. So anything I can do to prevent failed jobs. I don't know why that failed, but my guess is, if I remember correct, it's probably some because not every test gets run, and only some tests get run under FOSS as opposed to normal or something, which is weird, but somehow it happens.
Chances are this one was possibly a flaky one anyway. I'm not sure. Do you know? If this one was? Did they just rerun the pipeline? I can't see that you pushed any changes here.
I assume
Oh,
they
there is.
reran it because if you take a look, they reran something, it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they just reran it, to be honest. Because the trade-off, if we were to then run the as if boss pipelines on community MRs, is that the time it takes. So I don't know how the tiered pipelines, like it doesn't look like this is tied in, but yeah, so this pipeline took 47 minutes, and I don't know how much concurrency that was running with as well. That might be hours and hours of compute time. So I know with like the tiered pipelines, the point is to be like, well, let's give it a quick review first, run like a real brief pipeline, and then once we've got a bit more certainty, like it's all good, it's headed in the right direction, etc., then we sort of approve it, and it gets the higher tier, which runs a fuller pipeline. But other than that, yeah, I must admit, I just need to ask. I think if there's any way.
I'm missing a piece, however, about that environment variable, CI
Go on.
variable. How are they not adding the variable when the MR is open from a community for? When the pipeline is run from a non-project member? Because I'm looking at the add variable UI, and you can set the visibility, you can set the type, the environment, the flags, but I'm missing a piece.
How do you mean? Sorry. So
If the issue is due to that variable not being defined on pipelines started by community members, how are they not defining that variable for pipelines coming from community members?
well, we've never like because they run in the fork, we just haven't defined that variable in the fork.
Oh yeah, because they take in the variables from. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to think. I'm not. I think what. So yeah, because we could create a like project. So we could make a mirror of GitLab FOSS. We could create a project access token with only write repository permission. So we might be able to do it. Just trying to think if there's another. Oh, I can't. Yeah.
I suspect
Be
that
nice if. Go on.
we'll also need to make sure that all the environment, the CI variables are set up for the FOSS project, how they are supposed to be set up for the FOSS project.
Yeah, there's probably a whole bunch of other stuff that then doesn't work. I never realized how insane this was, what it was actually doing. I'll try and pull someone in to that. My suspicion is that they'll sort of say like
Too
it's too
complex.
yeah, essentially for the problem we're trying to solve. But it is an interesting one. Yeah, it's interesting. I like learning more about our insane insane CI. So jumping back to what we looked at last week, I was kind of running through the testing and like recreation steps and essentially noticed like one small inconsistency, well, not small, one significant inconsistency. And I'm probably going to have to talk it through in my head because it's a bit of a mind-blowing one. I'm trying to think if you can sort of understand it even just by looking at these screenshots. So what was I saying? Make a note, even though I can't spell note of your time zone. Add a time log using spend 5 minutes. Add a
Okay.
backdated time log. Right. So think what happened. They both look okay. Yeah, so I think it's this that's the problem. So the time log that I did using the quick action spend 5 minutes looked okay. It's kind of used the time zone from my profile.
Oh, you have one at 12 plus one and one at 13 plus one.
Exactly. So they're the backdated ones. And I
Yeah.
think what has happened there, and I need to remind myself. Time log app.
So the one from the UI looks more correct if we want to save it as in UTC, because it would be 12 plus 0. So it would be 12 o'clock in UTC.
No, I don't. Or is it? No, we don't want. I think we want it to be 12 o'clock their time, not 12 o'clock UTC.
So it should be, I mean, if I'm logging time on March the 2nd, it would be on 12 o'clock plus 2 because we are in plus 2 right now.
Yeah, so I'd always expect the note to say midday, basically.
Okay. Okay.
But
Okay.
this bit to change.
Okay.
So can you remember? I'm in the wrong.
Time logs app, time
Is it like
track.
time log form or something?
Uh,
Yeah,
time
create
log.
time log form. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. So we keep tweaking this. Where is it?
So if spent at, okay, spent at midday, set hours 12 to ISO string. Didn't we have a look that there was a function to also set the time zone?
Well, I don't think we need to here. I think that's the point. Or do we?
Hmm.
I think what we want to do is let the server, like, we send it without a time zone, so the server will use its time zone because we want.
Are we sending it with the full format like plus 0100 or with the Z at the end?
We can soon check, I guess. This is when backdating using the UI. So add some time. Backdate it. Yeah, so it's sending it in UTC.
Yes, but this is with your changes. Yeah. So
Let me just check. That's right. That's what's happening. I think this is right anyway. I need to remind myself. So I think that it's adding. So this has already taken account of the fact that I'm an hour off of UTC. So
yes,
it's fixed it for my time zone, but my time zone in my profile is an hour as well, I think. Let me check that. And I think it's then applying that a second time.
so it's double compensating.
I think so. Never know what's on the profile and what's in the preferences.
Yeah.
Apparently, I missed it and it was in the profile in the first place. Time zone, here we go. That's +2. So, how? Okay, let me pull my branch. That's always helpful.
Yeah. So just to answer question from, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but me Tradevi in the chat asked how these pairing session work. So we usually meet on Tuesday and on Thursday. And the events are all visible in Discord, and we simply kind of hang out and having a look at what we are working on and share opinions, or if someone else has anything to ask or anything they want to have a second look at, they can pretty much ask for it and we have a look at it together.
Pretty fair. Delete actually kind of. Oh no, ignore the delete for a second. Even. Yeah, ignore the delete, So let's log some time. 10 minutes on the 1st of May.
Last two.
So, yeah. So it's basically saying, okay, you sent 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it's adding the 2 hours onto that. So I need to figure out, like, we've got different options, I think. I don't know. So one option would be, yeah, send it UTC, or no, it's not even UTC, is it, that we want? But we just, or is it? No.
Because that's spent at value. Is that in UTC?
Well, it's converting. So it's saying, okay, midday in your time zone is 11 o'clock in UTC.
Yes. We have the spent at midday. We're taking the spent at, we are setting it to 12. Where actually we're adding 12. Okay, because the time is set to 0 when coming from the speaker. Then we are using that to ISO whatever function is that adding maybe some time zone and stuff?
I mean, do we? But I'm just trying to think. We don't want to. No, we do. I'm just wondering whether we shouldn't be adding the 12 here in the front end, because what we want to do is.
But I wouldn't change the value past to the mutation, because otherwise anyone using the mutation to set the specific time, it would break it.
Okay. Yeah, that's valid. So we're only doing it on the front end because we don't give them the ability to set the time. But what we don't know is this is in my brain. So we don't want to adjust. We don't want to adjust it. So in here, create service. Trying to think how it. So let me just check what the actual time log, because this is not the same as that. So this is actually
12 BST, which is right.
correct.
It's
This
just
is showing. So this is actually correct as well. But it's just that it should be showing.
Is it correct? Because 13.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because
I'm in BST.
Okay,
but my
so
profile is set to. So actually, let me just set this to BST.
maybe it's working. It's just the format of the system node that's throwing us off. Because the system node is not showing the time in. Oh no, wait. If it was in UTC.
Actually, no, you know what? I think you're right. I think so. This will happen. Like this should always be 12, but only if your time zone on the server matches your time zone on your client. Because the reason this is off, so let me add another time log now. Now it's fine because my profile time zone matches my Mac time zone. So actually, maybe that is okay.
I think it is, because if we are converting that to UTC, 12 plus 1 would be 11 UTC, 13 plus 2 would be 11 UTC.
Yeah.
I think it's just a visualization.
Yeah. Which, go on.
No, I was done.
So it is going to be problematic if people haven't set their time zone and they're considerably off. But as long as they set their time zone, it should be good. Okay, awesome. Hopefully that's all good then. That's a real brain. So let's just remember what the changes were. basically created a method because we were repeating the same code over and over. So I created a wrapper for that. And then I created a wrapper for this as well to format the time spent. So if there's no spent at provided, then it takes the current date and time. The time zone will pull from the author if they've got one, otherwise it will pull from the server.
Yeah.
And it will adjust to the time zone that's provided. And then the note will pass. That's all the same. And then format the spent at and create the note. Yeah. I think that's all good actually. After all that, a week I've been sitting, I was like, oh no, I thought we were double adding. I thought we were basically converting from the time zone on your client to UTC and sending it. And then I thought the server was then doing the same thing again, but I don't think it is, because I think you're sending it. So your client's converting it to UTC, but then the server's converting it almost back again. It's not repeating the same thing. It's doing the opposite thing essentially. So you're going, okay, take off the time zone, send it in UTC, and then the server's saying, right, add that time zone back on. So I think we're grand.
I wonder why the UI on your screenshot there, I wonder why when setting it via quick action, it was right and via UI not. Because
I had +2 in my user profile.
And the system note is created the same way for both the quick action and the UI.
Oh, so you're saying why does it say +1 and that one says +1 as well? Is that what you mean, or?
Yeah, because, well, not actually the +1, that makes sense. I wonder why there's 12 and 13. Because, okay, the difference between, those two system nodes, they're
that should say 12 +1, and that should say
no, they should both say
+2, I think.
Yes, based on.
Oh no, wait a minute. That should say 12 +1, and that should say
12 +1.
On my brain, honestly. So I my time zone, I think, was configured for UK BST, so it's +1. So it would have sent 11 to the server. The server would have said, but you're in whatever I had it set to Amsterdam, which is +2. So add 2 hours onto 11.
So it gets to 13.
But then that should just say 13 +2. Yeah. Where did it get?
Because 12 +1 and 13 +1, they're not the same time.
No. So let's try that now then. So with my profile, I think I just did that anyway. Yeah, so my profile's correct, my PC is correct, and it says 12 +1.
And that's from UI.
From the UI earlier, it said 13 +2, which is also, it's the same time, right? That's the same, but that's just because my time zone was different. Okay. So how on earth did I get it to, this is the question, right? How did I get it to say 13 +1?
Try to set your time zone on the profile to something else, like a +3, so that we don't have plus or -1, we have more.
Okay.
leeway.
Gonna do both as well. I'm gonna do spend 2 hours. Oh, it's still done +2. Even though +3.
Because 12 plus.
Because it sent 11 UTC is why it's done that.
But you're on the quick action, so everything is evaluated on the back end.
Yeah.
But your back end is in BST, it's not in UTC.
Yeah.
So the difference between your PC and Helsinki is 2.
Okay. Is that how it would show it? But not. So we think that it's the way that in time zone works is basically it. So
Does
date
it-
time dot current would be
But
yeah. So we'd have
you're providing the spent at value though, because you're providing the date.
true. Yeah.
So it's not evaluating the daytime current.
Good point. So
Oh, this is so confusing.
absolutely. Even here, I'm wondering because I'm sure I've seen a cop before that sort of says that you shouldn't use date time current. You should use something like time.zone.current or time.utc.current or something. Because you wouldn't want to see, like, it makes no sense to show the offset relative to the server, do you? You really want to see the UTC offset.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because if you have a look at the log for those time logs, they're correct in both cases, both from the UI and from the quick action. So the spent at value on the database is correct. It's just the system note that's oh. Why this is GMT and the others are
because the clock's changed in March.
oh, okay.
But that still doesn't make it right, does it? Because that should say 12 GMT. These should all be 12 at the time zone of the author.
Yeah, if you try to create one with a quick action, for example, yesterday, so that we know that there's no time saving and stuff in the middle.
So datetime current is actually no. Oh my god. So even
So it's telling you that it's 11:13 UTC because it's plus 0, but is it? It's not. It should be. No, it is.
that's fine. Yeah, that is actually that's good actually, surprisingly. So that means datetime.current is great, but we need to understand when we're passing in. So let me get the right. Get this one. So yeah, my brain is really like this. It really shouldn't be this confusing, Jed. So we need to understand what's being passed in.
So for the quick action, it's taking. I think we changed that on the what was it called? The class or module that was converting the string.
Yeah, it's like spend time date interpreter or something or other, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one.
this one. So
Spent
spent
at
at
date in time zone. So it's but it's not doing date time current. It's parsing the string with the time set to 0 because there's no time set on that string.
yeah,
Then changing the time zone to the user time zone
yeah.
and setting it to midday. But
So let's do that here. Day equals date dot pass. Got required date or
no, I think you had datetime.current date.
oh sorry. Date equals right.
Okay.
And then time zone
What's the time zone?
for what you put in here, to be honest, but let's try that.
Okay.
So that's still good at that point, and then date dot midday. And that's still correct there, right?
Should be, yeah, because you have 12 in BST, which would be 11 UTC, yes.
So then in here, we pass it to the formatter.
Yeah. And then do in time zone.
So it's double it. It's that might be causing problem, is it? No, that still looks fine, right?
But try to change the time zone and set oh, what was it? Europe,
Helsinki.
Helsinki. How do you spell Helsinki? Well, that way. And what?
That looks fine again, doesn't it? It says 2 hours difference between that and that, so it's increased it by 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I can't even remember what we've managed to do. It's this that we've managed to do, which with a 3 hour time difference, it somehow said it. That should be, yeah, that just doesn't compute.
Nope. Because it
Oh, or does it? Or does it? Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Uh-huh.
So we were UTC on the
because that was
This-
on January.
yeah, which was it was UTC. We're not UTC anymore. We're UTC plus one, but we were UTC at that point. So that was 12.
Okay.
So Helsinki would have been plus 2 at that point. That's why.
So is it right?
I think it is. I think it is.
Oh God.
Because daylight savings. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so then why are these then showing 13? How did we get it to show 13?
Those were from the UI. Try to create one from the UI.
Okay.
And pick like the same day. January the.
I'll do one recent. So that's because it's that's basically because it's adjusted from 12 BST to 14 because it's sent the date and time through the UI, and my server time doesn't match so that's great. And then if I go back to January, February, yeah. So the difference between me and the server is still those 2 hours, which is why instead of 12 it said 14, and the plus 2 is because Helsinki is plus 2 in February. That makes sense to me.
With date.
Yep. So do I. Why can't we get rid of daylight savings? And
yeah, why did we both start contributing to GitLab working with date?
Don't ask. But yeah, after okay. So I kind of want to add a note to here to explain
definitely
what can happen, like just sort of say like if your time zone and your local client is different when you use the UI, this is what will happen. And if you log time retrospectively when your time before or after daylight savings was different, then that's going to impact as well. Awesome. Well, at least I don't think I need to make any code changes. Just explanation.
So. Yeah.
Okay. Time for lunch then, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm starving.
Thanks so much for joining, and you too, Ezekiel. Speak to you soon. Cheers.